Hi, today what I want to talk about is those of you who are coming to the website because you're wanting to learn more about our June 8th event. So this video really is about our June 8th event in Provo, Utah at the Provo Public Library from 9 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. And I guess I can give you a little bit of information. Let me give you a really quick rundown on what's going to happen. The first half, the morning from 9 to noon, we're going to start with an introduction. We'll go over the levels, the 5 levels of consciousness using the book Pride and Prejudice, and specifically following Elizabeth Bennet, but also reaching out into some of her family, friends, and colleagues to understand what those levels of consciousness are. And so we'll take the first hour and a half to go through some material. Then we'll have a short break and we'll come back and we'll finish up the levels of consciousness. And then at noon we're going to go ahead and break for lunch. And we'll have lunch provided there for those of you who would like to participate in that. And then we're going to have at 1 o'clock start the second half of our presentation, which will be the levels of motivation, the 4 levels of motivation. And we're pairing that with The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe by C.S. Lewis. We're going to follow the 4 Pevensey children, the siblings, through their adventures and learn about motivation from their point of view. We will do the first 2, take a break, and then the final 2. And then hopefully we'll have a little bit of time at the end for some questions, and so a question and answer session as well. And so that's the event, basically what we're going to do. But what I want you to understand is a couple of things about it. That the levels of consciousness is my basic tool for gaining self-awareness. And that is, I've been doing therapy and life coaching for a good number of years, just 12, 13 years. And over that time, I've been developing this tool of self-awareness, of understanding myself and understanding my clients. And I'm really excited to share this tool with you, this levels of consciousness, because it is really the basic, it's the foundation for everything that I do. All my work is founded on this idea of there are 5 levels of consciousness that make up the human experience. And as a part of that, or with that, you gain self-awareness, but also you gain awareness of others. And therefore, you learn to empathize. And you learn how to forgive. So forgiveness and empathy and self-awareness, they all come because of an understanding of the human nature and the human experience, which is understood through the 5 levels of consciousness. Now, if you're a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, you'll see these levels of consciousness all over the place. They're in the scriptures all over the place. The prophets and apostles use them a lot. In fact, most recently, President Nelson, in talking about repentance, he talks about repenting and changing at all different levels of our being, and it's interesting because he actually touches on each of the levels of consciousness as he talks about that in his most recent conference address to the priesthood brethren about repentance. Now, the second tool that we're going to be going into is motivation, because you can learn all about yourself, and self-awareness is great, but self-awareness by itself is insufficient. Self-awareness by itself does not get us where we need to be. And so we want to gain self-control and self-mastery, and we need motivation to do that. And that's why we're going to step into the 4 levels of motivation. Now again, I don't know if I told you before, but I'm going to tell you now. The presenters at this event will be myself and Rachel Jensen, who has been working with me for just over a year now and has learned some of these tools, and she's going to be sharing some of her experiences and how she's been able to use these tools. And then our third presenter is going to be my wife. And my wife is my literary expert. I mean, she is so well read, and whenever I need a book for a client, I have a client who's dealing with an issue and just needs to understand better how to deal with that issue. And so I'm looking for a book. What can I ask them to read? my wife is always there to give me the help that I need. In fact, she's the one who chose the Pride and Prejudice and The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe for these two specific tools to help us understand them, because she had an understanding of literature that I don't have, although I do love literature and I love it. I love to read it. And when I say literature, I'm talking mostly novels. I'm not talking about self-help style books. We're going to use novels to understand the human experience, because it's truly through the novel that the human experience is explored. So we're excited about that. I'm excited to have my wife as a part of this team. I'm excited to have Rachel Jensen there to be able to share some of her experiences and how these tools have really helped her and enhanced her life. So we're really excited about this event. I hope that you guys will be able to come participate and learn these tools, both to learn self-awareness. And again, remember, with the self-awareness comes empathy, forgiveness, but then also the motivation, which then brings in the ability, the what do you call it? The energy that we need to be able to accomplish what we're trying to accomplish. Along with that, we're going to be just kind of, as we go through, we'll be giving you these small action tools to gain self-control and self-mastery. And we'll be giving those throughout both parts of our presentation, with the levels of consciousness and also with the levels of motivation. We'll be giving you those action tools that can help you go from self-awareness and learning and understanding yourself to self-control to self-mastery.